Hello! Pull up a chair and join us in the alcove, here with episode 78 of our homebrewed 5th edition D&D campaign, the Chaoslands. Before we start, we have a handful of quick announcements, so let's go through those. We upload recorded VODs of our game to YouTube, and if you're watching this, that's likely where you are. If you aren't, you can find us on youtube.com/@thealcove. That's youtube.com/@THEALCOVE. If you like this video, please click the like button down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, click the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever our next video goes live. If you want, you can also go and follow us on all of our social media accounts. Or don't, because social media is a hellhole. But if you want to, our Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are all there. They exist, and they may or may not have content on them. I think we switched Twitter to Blue Sky. I don't remember. I do not know.
We did.
That. We also use a variety of background music to improve the ambiance of our game and stream. And you may recognize some of it from Critical Role's Welcome to Taldore, Welcome to Wildmount, and Candela Obscura collection albums, as well as some royalty-free music courtesy of Riot Games. Links to those can be found below. Alright, that's all the announcements.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, let's begin our dive into the Chaoslands. Oh god. The Iron Will have arrived in the Rexade of Sylvia, the bastion of arcane magic, learning, and research, nestled within a crystalline canyon deep within the Etherglass Desert, only to discover that the city sits on the precipice of momentous events orchestrated by powerful and ancient forces. One such force seems to be Lady Angelica Garnette, a tiefling sorceress with a strange connection to Arkmir's past. A former professor at the Syncrophic Academy of Magic, one of the great institutes of learning on the continent, she seems to have returned to the city alongside one Karis Miranon, and is almost definitely up to no good. Having fled from her past encounter with you, you'd managed to pick up a lead within the Academy about her activity and potential ties there. After an evening of much planning and deliberation, much planning and deliberation, you had reached out to a contact that you had met earlier, a Professor Lorian Fainwell, in order to gain access to the institution, despite not being an enrolled student or a member of the faculty. In the morning, you made your way through the crowded streets of the city, following the hundreds of students who attend the academy each day, through one of only 2 gates that lead into the vast academy grounds. After a tense interrogation and inspection at the gates, you were escorted by the rangers to the administration building of the academy and granted a visitor's pass, visible as a glowing arcane symbol floating above the back of each of your hands, into the Courtyard of Clarity, the portion of the academy built at the canyon's ground level, and allowed to travel the grounds with the student, Yaslin, that Professor Fainwell had suggested would help you find Head Diviner Naya Lisvaris, head professor of the Department of Divination and Prophecy, and who could be a good point of contact for future questions and leads. Mm-hmm. However, as you came across the Head Diviner, preparing for the Grand Fair of Progress with the help of some magical constructs and other aids helping set up some sort of fairground exhibit area, the constructs began to go haywire and began assaulting you, as well as the Diviner, who seemingly seemed to come under attack by some strange animated spells of pure arcane energy. After a long and quite difficult battle, you managed to stem the tide and hold off the constructs, disabling the one that has seemingly become possessed by some external force that seemed influenced by red lightning, as well as holding a particular penchant for the letter C. So, as you took a bit of a deep breath here in the courtyard, surrounded by charred trees, grass, debris from broken constructs, the vague smell of acrid poisonous fumes that are still deprecating from the strange spells that you fought. That's where we took up today's session, as a group of guards and rangers, about half a dozen of them, a few rushing towards you, a couple of them flying quickly from separate ends of the academy, arrive on the scene.
No time you show up.
What are you all doing?
The fuck was that?
I was standing below the stairs that the Head Diviner was above me. So I peeked out and waved up. What are they doing?
She has I'll describe to you. Head Diviner Nihilus Varus.
Let's draw another girl.
Nihilus Forest? Oh, I had List Forest for some reason. What the hell?
She has long pointed ears, a little bit of a older elven face, long black hair tied in braid, wearing relatively simple looking robes, not anything denoting their obvious station. But she seemingly has already started to take charge, and you notice her coming down the stairs and making sure that all the constructs have been disabled. She turns towards you and nods, and then just holds up a finger gesturing to wait 1 minute as she walks off to deal with some of the rangers as they are arriving at the scene, giving you a little bit of a chance on your own for a bit before the forces kind of convene on you.
I'll go over to you then. You got a chance to go up into the room there. Did you get any idea of what started this all?
No idea. As soon as they opened the door, she was on the ground.
What?
And there were two. I forgot what their monsters were called.
Get poison stink cloud.
Yeah.
And the lightning.
Electric lion or snake. Electric
but
eel snake.
they were in the room with her, and all I could do was try and distract them as she made her way out. But nothing else in that room as far as I could see.
I think I finished close to the constructs.
Yeah.
Can I? No, I don't know if I can, but based on what I know about constructs and stuff, is there anything that looks tampered on them? I think one survived and kind of went back to normal, so it was the big guy that we kind of put together was
Knocked his
controlling
head
them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
Knocked his
anything?
head off.
Is there anything left on that guy that looks weirdly out of
I'd
place?
say make an investigation check to see if you can find anything that seems out of place.
While he's doing that, did you happen to notice the one construct?
No.
It seemed to be the one maybe
Don't know.
heading up the attack here.
The one that spoke.
Yes, in a very particular manner.
Yes.
And had red lightning, it appeared. Kind of.
Hey.
You don't notice anything immediately obvious because you're not familiar with this type of construct. Most of the constructs that you've worked with in the past are like electrosteel wiring that's powering them. These are all pure arcane magic, so it's not necessarily something that's your area of expertise. There's so many different rooms and stuff carved everywhere inside of it that you wouldn't know where any could have been potentially tampered.
All I was going to say was, seems like quite a coincidence that just as we arrive here, there's an attack against somebody we were going to meet, and that they share a similarity to someone we feel might be acquainted with. Well, you know who.
Is there a board around us?
What?
Bird.
Make a
We
perception
saw it
check.
on the way up here, but is it stopped to watch this all
I
unfold?
was going to ask the same thing.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Sorry, what are you looking for?
The bird.
Oh,
Rufus.
Oh, sorry, I kept hearing
We
bard.
saw it on the way up.
I heard. Yeah,
Bard.
well, he was.
There definitely is a bard.
I want my bard.
Yeah, is there a bard?
Is there a bard?
Oh. Hello?
18.
And then mine was shit.
Wait, did you roll?
Yeah.
Okay. We saw it on the way up, but then it flew off when we were getting up to this top platform.
Yeah.
There is not. You're pretty confident that you're looking around and you don't really see anything. And partially it might be because there are literally at this point now 4 or 5 visitors that are like flying in here in like ranger attire to keep monitoring the skies. The skies are pretty much being kept clear at this point.
Is there anything in the floor around me? Presumably I'm in the middle of the wreck. Whatever constructs came up. Is there anything that looks, I don't know, special, out of the ordinary that I can try to grab before we are surrounded?
Make
by
an investigation check.
Oh no, not one.
Oh, no.
Kind of everything looks out of the ordinary, right? Like it's a strange arcane construct that you've never seen the insides of before.
If everything's out of the ordinary, it's
Is
all
it-
ordinary.
Steel, electrosteel, iron.
Mostly steel.
Mostly steel.
Steel and a little bit of like iron parts to it.
Okay.
Are there any type of like symbols or anything?
Like
There's all
runes.
sorts of runes just carved all
all
over
over
it.
that one? Oh,
So,
because it's just normally is
yeah,
like
you have no idea whether any of them would be like strange or not.
yeah.
Okay. I go towards the head that I ripped off and I kick it. It's a
Um,
piece of junk.
Yeah, you notice that I was like talking to one of the rangers, and they both turn around and come towards you all. Who would be the first person that they would kind of go towards?
Who is this?
The diviner and
You guys would be the closest to her, depending on where she
Maybe,
walked to.
depends where
but-
she went.
no, she went off to speak with them, and they
I think we're off
they've
to
been leading
the rebels, so
a few of the other rangers. They immediately started ordering them around to be like, okay, put out this fire, and a couple of them began working on just like dousing the fires. A few of them started blowing gusts of wind across to scatter the poisonous, the sort of like cloud that's still over here.
Well, I'd head over to the
Nice.
diviner
I'll
and
walk with them because I've spoken to Fainwell.
yeah. Obviously, I
That's
saw how
just some amnesia.
obviously I saw how she was after it, but I'm still gonna ask, like, you okay? Like, I saw you on the ground in the room.
She seems fine as she turns towards you. Yes, thank you for that. That was certainly unexpected, and there's not much that surprises me these days. I'm Head Diviner Niall Asfaris. Nice pleasure to meet you all. It's quite thankful that you were here. Though I have to admit I don't recognize you all. Are you students here? And she sees your hand with
Yeah, I
the
was just gonna
Yeah,
say.
we're guests.
guest. Strange, but timely. This is the Commander Valak. He is she gestures towards the head guard here. You can see some of the, like, he's wearing like almost like medals and badges that are like chained together. He's got heavy gauntlets and almost like a metal cloak of like chainmail, almost like dangling off of him. With like various sashes and belts. He is ornately dressed more than even the rest of the rangers. And you notice the first thing immediately as you look at his face, whereas all of the other guards you've noticed have had that lens.
Yeah.
He has several that are just like
Like the spy kids?
It's
Yeah.
like a single lens with like several different like lenses in front of it
Sick.
that he like knocks. And as he's looking at you, he knocks one of them, like slides up and places it there. And he's looking at you all. Yeah. Yes. What happened here? Where are you?
I'm Calthea.
Helter. Pleasure to meet you. Yes, and you?
Arkmere Croft.
Arkmere Croft. Good to. I believe folks of your description were allowed entrance earlier today. Thank you for your action here. Can you describe what happened?
Money, please.
Can you describe what happened here?
Good luck.
I got this.
Honestly, walking through here, I did see a display of students using elementals randomly amongst each other. As we walked further, we heard screams from this building and came running in and saw, I guess, diviner friend here under attack from these two. Well, what started as just two elementals, and as we proceed outside, I think I'll point over to the what are we calling them? Those
Constructs.
The constructs, yeah.
And I'm kicking one under.
Yeah. Start with those.
So that's evidence.
Like puppet shows with them.
Turning on us as well, and I hope you can see that we're not in the greatest of shape. I say that right now, probably like bloody and visibly like poisoned. Also, if you have any assistance that you can provide us, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Well, I'm sure there's several potions or magical cures that the diviner might have access to. And she looks back and nods. Yes, I can corroborate some of what they're saying. I was performing some research in preparation for the fair, and something unexpected happened. I take responsibility for the strange spells that occurred, though the constructs had nothing to do with it. And she, with your passive insight, you can tell that she's not being fully forthcoming with information. She's trying to be a bit evasive.
Forgive me if it's inappropriate to ask, but given the amount of scrutiny we were given on attempting to enter this place, I'm curious who allowed these constructs to be here and work.
These constructs themselves, they're under the purview of Professor Kalani. They are fairly normal. They have been serving here and working and helping us build a lot of these temporary establishments, as well as just helping around the entire academy pretty consistently without anything similar to this ever happening.
Would there be anyone on the campus that can help us know if they've been tampered with?
Probably Professor Kalani. She's the only one who might have some sort of an idea about this.
Have we heard that name before?
I don't think so. What department does Professor Kalani work out of?
Oh, the Department of Enchantment. Enchantment
Makes
and
sense.
Illusion.
Yeah. Are all the constructs accounted for on the campus, or?
Would believe so. These are simply the ones that have been helping me set up the fair. Commander Valak, can you please request that Professor Kalani as well as Professor Vesh please come to my offices, the actual offices, and she gives the order and then nods and I think this place seems safe. Pleasure to meet you all. I'm Head Diviner and Atlas Varos. And this Yasin comes running over and he just looks at her and is like, "Is everything all right? What happened, Professor?" And she looks at him. "Who are you?" And he, yes, I'm a student. I'm working with Professor Fainwell. He requested that these fine individuals come and speak with you regarding something, and he asked me to help show them to you. And she, Professor Fainwell.
Yeah, I'm curious how she responds to him saying that Professor Fainwell sent us to her.
Your left eye twitch.
Make an insight check.
34.
Probably.
I don't think I can do that high. 24? No, 22.
I don't. She doesn't have too crazy of a reaction. I think she does seem a little bit. I think you see her putting two and two together as to why you are here, as opposed to just being random strangers that just showed up out of nowhere. And I think, if anything, she seems a little bit more at ease than she was before. Yes, Professor Fainwell. He's quite a capable man. I haven't seen him around in quite some weeks. I believe he was supposed to be giving some lectures every week, but I don't think he has been. But yes, if there's anything I can help you all with, obviously it seems like I owe you all.
Would we be able to speak in private away from all the
We should.
chaos?
We certainly should. Yes, come with me. And she gestures. She walks over to Commander Valak and begins to order him to dispatch a few rangers to come with her, get the rest of them to clean up some of the debris here, get other people working on continuing to set up with the fair. And just they've already set up a sort of perimeter where students are kind of trying to peek past people to see what's happening. You already hear whispers and rumors of people I don't know what happened. It seemed like just lightning just fell from the sky. How's the tree on fire? What happened? And you just begin to hear just like rumblings and whispers across crowds of students that are now gathering here. But she motions to you all. Yes, please. Come. We should speak in private. And a couple of guards following her begin to lead you along a path away from this fountain and the fairgrounds.
Follow her.
Okay.
I guess before we go, I would ask the big one. Don't these constructs remind you of the ones that we saw in that cave, the Arkansas cave?
Do they?
It says so.
Looks
in my
pretty
notes.
similar.
It's very similar.
I mean, that one was fighting us as well.
Yes.
Do you think it's connected?
I mean, it's definitely no coincidence that we show up and this happens. So, above anything else, it's...
What did that fucker say when before I killed it?
a lot of C words. Not the bad one.
What?
Not the bad one. But he sounded a lot like our good friend Clanko or the eye in the sky.
In the sky?
The big thing that was terrifying in the red smoke. Has a bunch of arms.
Right.
As we're beginning to walk, just kind of like looking around our periphery, does it seem like there's anybody who's specifically watching just us? Like not looking at what's going on or like kind of like not students who are like, oh my god, all this stuff, but just kind of like focused on us?
Any kind of bird.
Well, yeah.
Also, before we leave, is Yasin following us?
No, he's left.
I will go up to him and I'll flick him a gold coin. Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Pickpocket
Oh, he probably had a vision about it.
You can see that he's like constantly looking at Timon and like looking back and forth, and he just mumbles as you do this. He just mumbles, "I knew I saw it."
Good prediction.
Make a perception check for me.
Don't think I can.
You know, if you work on it a little bit more, you might be able to give me a little bit of a longer heads up.
14.
Yeah, you don't see anybody. There's a lot of people who are kind of all looking at your group as you're kind of making your way through, especially because you are all new and aren't like, dressed like normal students.
Do we have second listers up right now? I don't think we do.
We do.
I thought you
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Oh, is it like a... Do you do it like as we were coming into the place?
I think so, yeah.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah,
like
you
for
did
like
it
4 hours.
possibly
So
like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna say it's kind of hard to really notice if anybody is keeping an eye on us because drew quite a crowd here.
we are the center of attention until maybe we get to our office.
Did you notice she requested a Professor Vesh to her office? That was the name Shay told us about. She's the
shit! I didn't clue into that.
She's the
It's the headmaster.
headmaster
Zivian.
of the
Zivan.
Necrotic Department.
Jivan.
For the which department?
Necrotic.
Probably.
Necrology. Head of prof of necrology.
Interesting.
Is that where Lady Garnette is also? Is
She
in there?
liked it.
She's
if she
like
wasn't part of it.
potential.
Yeah. But
She
this is
was horny
interesting
for
that
it.
she's calling the professor of enchantment and the professor of necrology
Mm-hmm.
to meet with her. Interesting.
Also, just if we do happen to come across this Vesh, you'll remind her that Shay requested we do not mention them.
She sends her regards.
She walks with you through a few paths, eventually coming to this rather large ornate building that's kind of built up against one of the walls that leads up to like the next tier of the cliff. As you step inside, it's like warmly lit, fairly large, almost like a circular vestibule. Good word. Just a large circular chamber with like a bunch of like tiled floor with a few like small reading nooks and pathways leading up to the
Joe
side.
good?
With
I
spiders.
Joey on the phone.
I have no idea what that is.
Don't worry about
It's a
it.
Friends reference.
Sure. Yeah, there's a few spiral staircases on either side, and she walks towards one of them and begins to climb up it. Who's leading the way for you?
Not
I
on
mean, I
Will be,
imagine
yeah.
if we were talking with
Okay. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Both of us?
Whoever's leading the way.
Oh
All
shit! She gonna touch your dirt.
Oh, I rolled a 1 and I have an 8.
is this
So I have a 9 total.
Still that
this
one.
one's like an
Yeah.
interesting one.
I would have failed though.
So
Yeah.
I can, if I know that somebody is making a saving throw of some kind, I can give them advantage.
This happens to both of you at the same time.
That's why-
and it
that's
is a
why-
surprise.
Okay,
so.
that I was like,
Well, I eat shit.
So does Derek.
Yep.
4. Nice.
As you both set foot onto the stairs, you immediately feel yourself just launched backwards. You go flying in the air and crash onto the ground behind
But
you.
we're holding hands while I'm having
Yeah. Together.
You take 9.
You take
force
9
damage.
points of bludgeoning damage.
Well, I'm unconscious.
It depends
You
on.
just see,
Armir, no!
so it is a dexterity saving throw, so your evasion does kick in. You take half of that.
So
right?
4.
Well, the other thing I was gonna ask, the whole time that we were like waiting for her and she was doing stuff, and then we were like, was there a short rest?
It was
in
not
there?
a short rest. It was like 5-10 minutes. It was not 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I have 1 HP.
Am I for realsies at full health?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did
Yeah.
the
You
most
used-
dodging and damaging.
You did use staff charges that it would not let me edit.
Yeah,
So-
we used all your staff
Yeah, we did use
charges,
some staff
and
charges.
it broke.
Yep.
What?
Staff is dead.
Seriously? Don't do
You
that
just
to
get
me.
you get knocked back onto your ass like 40 feet. Just you the rest of you just see Arkmir and Kalthur just go flying off.
And they land in front of, I guess, us.
Like 40 feet. You guys
Probably
are probably
behind you
walking
guys.
closer than that. Probably
Oh.
well
Yeah.
behind you all.
We're just
Almost
over
near
you.
the entrance
We
of
got
the
launched
ocean.
40 feet.
Quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Can I try catching one of them?
You all just see them both just go like Wilhelm screaming back behind you.
Team Rocket's
Um,
blasting off again.
She turns around and she's like,
I already told her
should've-
that I wasn't doing well.
I should have seen that coming. I'm not sharp right now. She gestures towards whoever's next in line. As those two have fallen off, whoever's next, she motions over to whoever would be next and like begins to cast a spell.
Sure, I'll just be.
Sure, me and.
She doesn't even come to our aid.
Yeah.
No,
Me and Xander.
Can I go to their aid?
You can if you'd like, but yeah, a few of you go over there. But whoever's next in line, she begins to cast a spell, and you notice the blue sigil on the back of your hand.
Is it fading? Okay.
Visitors are allowed in.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go walk over to where Arkmir is, and I'm gonna.
Instead of the blue sigil
Yeah.
on the back floating above, you do still see like a faint,
Faint.
almost like a carved in, almost like an embossed symbol
Whoa.
on the back of your hand. It's no longer glowing,
Okay.
but it is still like a
There.
temporary mark.
Okay.
Carved a bloody.
Yeah.
All right, gather around, friends. We seem to need a bit of assurance. I'm gonna cast a prayer of healing. So up to 5 creatures of my choice who needs heals right now.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely me. I'm
Not
missing
her.
5.
Not her.
Basically everyone else.
You don't
Okay,
need-
I have lost 9. The
Okay.
9 that I just took is what I've lost.
Okay, so anyone who needs healing, up to 5 people,
I can
get
do
2 d8s. I'm gonna roll my d8s.
But it's probably us 5, not Astra.
Oh.
10.
I'm back to full.
Me too.
But in addition,
Oh,
anyone
wait.
who
You just roll, not us, right?
Yeah, he rolls.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we all get 10. Cool.
Yeah. and any creature who is affected by
all of
this
us.
gets a short rest.
Oh, shitballs!
Oh,
Get
really?
fucked.
Yeah, screw you,
We'll probably
Rafay.
end up having a shortest here, but yes.
Okay.
Until then.
Until then, I mean,
You don't know. Garnett can
You
be
don't
right
know.
there.
Yeah,
I
You
may
might
as
get into
well
another fight.
use my
You will.
hit die.
It's true. Get yourself back up.
Yeah, I need some as well.
She comes to each of you one by one, and as she comes to you two, I'm quite sorry.
Oh no.
Yes, there are certain barriers between several of the tiers here. With this rune, you should be fine on the second level, but you probably should still be careful heading
Maybe
up
you should
to
let
the
us
spire.
know where there's
Would you like to
potential
heal me?
Booby traps.
boobies.
Anywhere where you would be getting access to the tier above. We are going to my offices and the academy.
That sweet, sweet prayer healing.
As she goes to each of you and casts that spell, she's continue. Please follow me. And she turns around and gets to go. He goes up the
See me
stairs.
just pulling out a psychic dagger. Yeah.
Now that we're at, I don't know if this is like her office or just like an office building. You said there were guards with her.
Yeah.
Are they still coming into the building? Are they
Yeah, the two guards are with her, and they're both going up the spiral staircase. You follow her up the spiral staircase to eventually a landing, and on this landing, there's actually a tunnel that goes into this wall itself, and with like an upper ramp.
Okay.
You follow her up there, and you emerge onto the courtyards of the second level.
Alright.
And over here, you notice quite a few scattered, like larger buildings, whereas the base level down below is mostly more of like an open gardens with like a lot of small like study gazebos and like benches and like open amphitheaters. This is where the majority of the actual like seems like lecture halls, larger offices for students and professors are, and you can see as you look up above you there's the third tier on which the massive like spire, the Ashar pinnacle, with like larger, almost like 2 or 3 wings sticking out of buildings. But the top level is basically just one very large, almost like spire and building. This level seems like where the majority of the actual academy is. So, you notice obviously like all sorts of signs of magic everywhere. There are no there's like runes glowing all on pretty much everything that you look at. There's different sort of strange runes that are glowing. The pathway itself, as you're like stepping on each brick, it almost like lights up. You hear all sorts of music playing from different places. Some of it seemingly almost like rousing you a little bit, of like making you excited, making
We're all
giving
around.
it rousing, not arousing.
We're all walking.
That's not what I
That's my
heard.
secret. I'm always around.
There's jovial music that slowly turns into almost like a sad lilt, and you almost can't even tell where the music is coming from.
I'm looking
You-
for nameplates on doors that say like Lady Garnette's office. Okay.
But what you've emerged into is mostly a courtyard. There's several large buildings here. You look up. This is the highest up that you've been in. As you notice to the right, at one point there's like a pathway that leads towards like a almost like a balcony terrace type situation where you can walk up and you look out at the rest of the city. The canyon kind of spread out in front of you, with the different bridges connecting the two sides. Quite beautiful. As you take that in, she continues to lead you towards one of the larger buildings, seemingly with like ionic columns, a few steps upstairs into the entrance hall. You enter, you follow through. There's all sorts of strange statues and telescopes and tapestries that line the sides of the entrance hall as you step in. Strange patterns, and you notice a few students just sitting there, just like staring at one of these tapestries. You have no idea what they're thinking. They're simply just sitting there, staring at it, and you see
What do
their
I
eyes
get
almost
out of
like
it when I stare at the text?
their eyes are almost like glassed over. Make a insight check.
So like one of those puzzles that you could like cross your eyes and the image pops out at you.
23.
You get a permanent +1 to your result.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Now you're
I
dead.
mean, I'm theoretically good at those. Is this being charmed?
No.
17. I had it on the weekend. I lost it.
You start to gauge what the students themselves are looking at, and you try to like follow their eyes as they're almost like reading something off this tapestry. You can see them almost like going across it line by line, and you try to focus on it, and you try to see what they're seeing, and try to see what they're reading, and you don't see anything.
It's nothing.
The stonework in this place.
Mhm.
Can I glean anything about its origin or anything like that?
The stone and the material seems like it is similar to the walls, the canyon walls here. It seems like it is native from here. It has been carved out of some of the stone from within the tunnels or from within the canyon itself. It seems to have been carved very well, probably with some arcane help, probably not by hand entirely. But it seems very well done and very clean, very immaculately maintained. Very well built. You notice up above you in this hallway there's like a couple of like smaller balconies, and you notice a student just walk up to it and just throw something up in the air, and clattering down onto the floor just behind you as you walk through is just a bunch of bones.
Oh.
There's probably like half a dozen bones.
Oh.
And they land and they clatter around,
It's a
and you
necrotic
can
thing.
see him almost like looking down and drawing the pattern that
He's
they
reading the
landed them in.
bones.
Like human-sized bones.
Make a medicine check.
God.
It's a rat bone.
He's like, that's human.
23.
One of them is definitely a human femur. You are quite certain of that.
I don't want to know where that came from.
Looking around at these balconies, is there anybody watching us?
Make a perception check, right?
Yes.
Get him out now.
Yeah, it's like the third shit time. Nope, that was I think it's 6.
He's messaging.
No, 8.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a message.
I'm nothing.
I have other stuff to do.
I don't have
I have to take notes as well for certain things that I improv out of it.
I can hope for a message one day or thing.
I will tell you. You don't see anybody particularly paying attention to you. As you enter this building, you do notice that the 2 guards do not follow, as they stay outside. And a few people seem to be paying attention to the head diviner, but not necessarily to any of you. You walk in, and just at the end of this hallway, there's been several doors and pathways that are kind of leading you off, but just at the end of the hallway, there's this double door of like thick black mahogany, and as she walks up to it, she just waves her hand, and one of the doors just like turns inwards. She steps inside into a nice, warm, fairly large, circular chamber and office, and she gestures you all to follow her.
This looks like her office. Like,
It seems like it. As you step inside, you notice there's like
I slowly am like,
Is there a barrier?
yeah.
there is no. You reach through and yeah, that's fine. Nothing happens. The first thing that you all notice.
What's what happened?
The first thing that you all notice, and it is immediately unnerving to you, is the fact that as you step inside this fairly large circular chamber is covered in several mirrors. And
Don't look in the mirrors.
You
up here.
almost immediately have, like, as you step inside and you begin to see this, whoever's leading, you stop. And you just see this room obviously seems like all sorts of different perspectives on the same
I don't like that.
smoke chamber. It catches you a little bit unawares as you take a step in,
I
and
don't like
you just
it.
see everyone just moving.
I'm pretty sure that there's some love hotels back in Cornwall.
I cast mirror image.
With all the mirrors in this room, does it look bigger on the inside?
It definitely does. It's hard to tell how big it actually is. And yeah, almost every wall is just covered with mirrors, crystals, polished silver discs, just like everything that is reflective in many ways. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
At the chamber's center, there's an ornate rune-carved desk of pale ivory. And even its surface, you can see it embedded in it, is just like a reflective piece of glass. Yeah.
Astra, once everybody is kind of like gathered in the middle, or I assume that's where we kind of gather, Astra's gonna kind of mosey around and like have a look in the reflections.
Are you just placing us all in the middle?
We'll get back to that in a minute. As you step inside, she immediately gets to work opening. She pulls open a drawer, pulls out a couple of sticks of incense, puts them into like a small, I guess it's like an incense, like a lamp. Puts them on there and begins to like uses a quick magical spell to just light them, and the smell begins to fill the room. Astra. At this point, you would have walked in. You would have turned to see some of these mirrors. Make a wisdom saving throw for me.
You die.
Easy.
I am pretty wisdomous.
Do we see all of the
13.
reflections?
You would have turned to look at one of these mirrors, and you would have seen yourself looking back at you. But
Yeah.
while you would have been looking straight at it, the figure within the mirror would have cocked its head,
Oh, no.
winked once.
I start breaking all the mirrors.
But then you would have been looking at this and inhaled some of the incense that has just been lit, and your reflection would almost shimmer to the point where you can now just see yourself.
Oh, I wink at myself.
And the smell of the incense seems to clear your head a little bit.
I look at other mirrors, same thing. It's just me.
Just you.
Okay.
We see everyone's reflections.
Yeah, you can see everyone's reflection.
Including-
He's looking at the mirrors. I cast invisibility.
Yeah.
Next thing you notice is she pulls out a small, or actually not a small, a large basin, like puts it in front of her, and begins to conjure up some water.
We're gonna pour him in.
It fills into this. I think we should be safe in here. Hello. Thank you all for everything that you have done. So, Professor Famel, last I know, he was speaking about some fairly radical things. How is he doing? Has he come to his senses yet?
Well, I don't know what he was like before, but he is what he is, as far as I'm concerned.
I liked him.
What do you mean by radical?
Yeah.
Oh, something about the end being nigh.
That sounds like him.
Sounds about right.
I like him.
You know, somebody who has a penchant for seeing in the future. I have seen such, and I'm fairly confident the end is not nigh. But I have already been surprised by some things today, so I now no longer am quite as certain.
Maybe it's just not nigh now, but it's nigh later.
What's not me?
I'm not sure.
Name is Niles.
Has he
And is her.
told you exactly what will bring about the end?
I believe you mentioned something about some cult working in the shadows.
In a sense, yes.
Yes, you all are quite welcome here, and I appreciate your saving me. But I'm certain you all came here for a reason, perhaps What is it that brings you here?
I'm looking for a flying broom.
There's several outside. I mean, I'm not sure if you can just have one. They're for borrowing, usually.
Extended borrowing?
How exactly would you... No. Not really.
We'll talk about it more later.
I think they have its... I'm not sure you understand exactly how these work. So I will tell you that they have a limited amount of magical energy built into them. And when they're about to run low, they just return home.
Well, like a
To a
Tesla
charging station.
So I'm not sure how extended your extended borrowing could be. But regardless,
Is the creator of them like a crazy guy who's kind of taking over the world a little bit?
no, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure most of them are maintained by Professor Kalani.
Okay.
Speaking of, very shortly here, we will be having probably 2 visitors, Professor Kalani and a Professor Vesh. I believe that the 2 of them would be the only ones who would have any information around what happened today. I will probably speak with them, and hopefully we will learn exactly what transpired.
If I may ask, why Professor Vesh? I know that Professor Kalani is in the enchantment department. I'm not familiar with Vesh.
As part of my preparation for the fair, I had acquired certain materials from Professor Vesh, and I believe they are responsible for some of the strange things that we were fighting, or that you protected me from. So bravely, might add. Thank you.
I see.
Do you know why the constructs turned on you or on us?
No, I don't. I have no idea what happened there.
Do I believe her?
Make an insight check.
Do
Can I help?
you trust Professor
Roll
Vesh?
yourself, I have advantage.
I have a advantage.
We'll get back to that one.
23.
That's better.
She seems to be telling the truth. To your question, she replies, I have no reason not to. I've acquired these materials from him in the past, and they have worked as described.
Are you... Oh, were you... Somebody said-
I was just gonna ask, the construct and had some red lightning about it. Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
Have you seen anything like that before?
No?
Do I believe her?
Let's just keep the
Sure.
previous inside roll. Yeah, you have no reason. Like, she's
Okay.
not. She doesn't seem to be applying.
Jumping off of that a little bit, are you familiar at all with the Red Home? Does this mean anything to you?
Or Redom.
Red Home.
Redom.
I mean, not really. What does it mean something to you?
Possibly. There's another professor here, I believe professor, that we were interested in speaking with. The Professor Garnette.
She's rolling really shitty. For a diviner, she knows nothing. Can't say I recognize the name. Do you happen to know which department they're in?
In Head.
You said Garnette, right?
Yep.
Okay.
What
She
did you
was
say?
necrology.
Yeah.
Right?
Necrology.
Alright.
It's 2 things. It's like
It's necrology and tropic studies.
yes,
Entropic,
that's what it
yeah.
is.
Then
Yeah, head of top.
Oh, perhaps Professor Vesh will be able to help with that. He's the head of that department, so he should be here soon, I imagine. that. Oh, but you're here looking for anything I can help.
Well, we came seeking information about Professor Garnette, but how much did what's his name, Fainwell? How much did he tell you about his suspicions?
He, last we spoke, which was several weeks ago now, he was trying to convince me that he had seen something regarding the storms, and honestly, that's the closest thing that we can come to this red lightning being raising a little bit of a red flag in my recollection. He mentioned something to do with the storms and about the city was going to fall, that the canyon above us would collapse. He seemed honestly as though he just had a bad dream. He has been known in the past as to having a little bit of a problem with nightmares. So we honestly don't really pay too much attention to it.
You're a diviner, right?
Yeah.
Can you see in the future, or can you also see in the past?
Mostly in the future. Can't really see in the past one. Just in the future.
I can see the present.
But yes, I've seen countless events in the future. I've seen the fair of progress occurring. I've seen the graduation ceremony for this year's batch of students. I've seen some of the new construction that we're doing in the east wall completion over the next... It's scheduled to complete in the next couple of years. I have no reason to doubt that what I've seen is wrong up until today. So.
This may be a bit blunt, but we've been conversing with Fainwell, and to be honest, it sounds a little bit like you're quite skeptic of what he believes right now. And when we mentioned we were coming to the academy, he gave your name. Why?
Make an insight check.
Come on.
You don't want to use that 23 that I rolled already?
Not this time, no.
Alright,
Can I
dirty 20.
help?
He already has advantage anyway.
You notice her face almost like, I don't know, perhaps maybe he trusts me. I'm one of the foremost experts in the field. What you notice almost immediately is that the water in the basin in front of her just begins to glow red.
Oh no.
I whisper in your head, do I punch her in the face?
Yeah.
She puts her...
She pulls her face off?
No, she just puts her hand in her...
I love
Design,
that.
Lady Garnette.
I guess even I can't lie to myself.
Lying is not very nice, you know.
Wait 1 second, please.
Oh god.
She stands up and begins to walk towards one of the mirrors.
Okay.
She walks through the mirror. You see her walking away into the mirror.
Huh.
You don't see her presence in this room.
Do we follow
She
her?
turns around the corner and just leaves. You're on
Do
your
we
own.
follow her?
Said wait here one moment.
She did say wait here.
I'm very sneaky, I can go after her.
Does this the basin turn back to regular color?
Yeah, the basin just briefly shimmered over with a red light.
I'm gonna run
And then-
full speed at the mirror she went into.
I'm not gonna go running after her if she said wait, but I do want to just try very slowly to press my hand to the mirror.
Feel solid.
Okay.
Oh.
I try every mirror in the room.
I look at the basin,
The basin is just
especially as it glowed red.
the basin just has gone back to just looking like plain
I want to
or clear water.
just openly, I don't know, I'm just I'm My skin is green. Does it change color?
The pen is blue.
No.
Nothing there.
Oh wait, what is it you said?
I said my skin is green.
It shimmers red.
Okay.
So it's about telling the truth or
Yeah.
something? Interesting.
That's something you gather.
Asher's a
As
bad
you're-
liar.
Nothing happens.
He's a great liar.
As you walk over and you touch one of the mirrors,
Oh wait, I should have said the opposite. Fuck. I understand how it works now. It took me a second. Damn it. There's an opportunity.
as you touch one of the mirrors, you don't notice anything. But as you pull your hand away, there's almost like a little a print
Ripple?
of your hand, and like ripples coming off from it.
Which one? The one you in?
No, a completely different mirror.
Put my hand through?
It's still solid.
Oh, but
As
it
you pull your
shimmers?
hand back, there's just like ripples that emanate out from where you had put your hand. And you see walking in the distance a figure just walking towards you.
Her?
Looks like her.
Oh god.
Which she is walking
From
from
a
a different mirror?
From a different mirror, yes. Just walking towards you.
It's just trippy. Right?
She walked into one mirror
And
and
is
was
walking
walking
out.
out of
I
a
don't like
different
this
That's
room.
Does
at
she
all.
look any different?
She,
mirror.
is she Lady Garnette?
She looks very different.
What?
She is dressed in very, very different robes, and much more ornate, much more presentational, much more
battle garbs.
essentially, yes.
Okay.
Just ready to fight us.
How long was
Oh,
she
God,
gone?
Yeah, what
Hopefully
kind of...
not
What
us.
She's
kind
wearing
of
this like ornate headdress with like 3 prongs that are just like pointed backwards.
Yeah.
Her hair is almost like what was in braids is just now loose and open,
How long was she gone? To us?
like half a minute.
That was pretty quick to change.
Yeah.
Taking off a nightie and putting on a new nightie.
Kind of unrelated though, but like, are there any potions or anything around this
You make it
office?
sound like Mr. Rogers.
I mean, you can try and chug the water that's in this thing, but no.
So what do you got?
Is it
Mr.
just
Rogers
so
and
all she has in her
nightie?
office is literally like it's just
Mirrors.
like shiny things?
I mean, there's a bunch of like there's a few drawers and cabinets that are closed. If you want to start rifling through them, you
You have 30 seconds
can.
now.
Also, this room is highly magical.
No, I just wanted a potion.
There's nothing immediately visible. But as you're watching this, you step briefly away from the mirror, and this figure emerges from the mirror and looks almost exactly like facial structure looks like her, but she is dressed completely differently. Her demeanor is completely different.
Are you here to kill us?
No,
Good.
should I?
Does it shimmer red anywhere?
No, the mirror does not shimmer red.
Why the sudden
Change.
change?
I think it warrants a more serious outlook, and I needed to go and recover a little bit of myself. Hello. Not all of me is usually needed for everything.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. Yeah, not exactly
Well,
sure
not-
what you mean by that.
Are all of you here now?
No, some of me are somewhere else, but
Sometimes the
I'm
things you
here,
say
so-
just don't make sense.
You split yourself up.
Do you know Pumat's soul?
no, I've never heard of them. I have a few assistants of myself that wander around and perform certain menial tasks.
Is that who we were just speaking with?
Yes.
Are you the main you?
She's prime.
My name is Head Diviner Nihilus Varus. Pleasure to meet you all. One of my friends has informed me of your visit and your aid in helping keep them safe. They didn't have enough time to fill me in too much information. How can I help you?
For context, I had asked why Professor Fainwell would entrust you, or entrust us to coming to you.
That's when she got all squirrely and ran away.
Finwell's a bit of a fool, but I've always enjoyed my time chatting with him. He has some interesting ideas around just what we should do with our revisions. I have to admit, I haven't always believed in what he has said. I trust him. If he believes that you all are going to help him save the city, whatever that means. I, again, don't necessarily believe that the city needs saving. But if he believes strongly, I'm sure we encourage all of our professors and all of our students to undergo as much research as they would like into any sort of subject matter. And if his research topic is something that may be destroying the city, then by all means, he should. I believe he is trustworthy.
Well, if you pointed us in your direction, and you are supportive of this research, is there anything that you may be able to help us out with in understanding this?
There is one thing that I can help you out with. My friend mentioned that you were looking for a Professor Garnette. They are not probably familiar with her because they were busy setting up the fairgrounds. I am quite aware that the disgraced former professor has returned to the academy. I believe she has made her presence known in the Department of Necrology. Yeah, she was exiled from here many years ago, but I believe the reasons for her exile have been deemed as non-issues. I believe I got into quite an argument with Professor Vesh when that occurred, but I'm going to be entirely honest. He can be a bit of a prick.
And you're aware that... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
You're aware that your assistant requested Professor Vesh.
Yeah.
Yes, that is also partially why I am here. I believe I need to speak to him based on what happened to me.
In your head, I'm going to say, do you trust her? Do you think we can trust her?
It's the only, path forward that we have right now. I believe, unless you think otherwise.
At this point, I don't know what else we can really do. This might sound like an odd question, but do you have the ability to read minds?
I do.
If I requested you to read my mind so that I could show you something, how would you feel about that?
I would be intrigued. Not many people would willingly let someone into their mind as such. I would feel a burden of responsibility, but I would trust you.
Well, know that this is quite a high level of trust that I'm giving to you, and hope that you do not pry further. But there is something that I believe you should see.
Just a picture of your dick.
Yeah. My dick.
As you say that, there is a knock at the door.
Do not open that door yet.
It can wait.
Can we proceed?
It won't
You
take long.
can. Sure. Just a minute.
I'm naked.
I am going to focus all of my surface level thoughts to as much clarity and detail as I can to the vision of Redhome crashing into Sylphia that the big one and I saw.
Okay. I would say make a wisdom saving throw, but you would allow you to just willingly
failing to let them read my surface level thoughts.
You notice her close her eyes, and she begins to cast a quick spell, and about 6 seconds, 12 seconds pass. Interesting. What was that?
He's nervous.
What was that?
There is a washroom just several doors down.
He's gonna go through that mirror.
Damn, that was loud.
What was
I
that?
haven't got those Mexican.
Are you sure you don't just have quite a vivid imagination? Because I'm not quite sure that
That was a vision
Did anyone else hear
provided
that?
to us
So loud.
of a potential outcome.
there's another knock on the door.
Pastor?
We'll come back to that. Yes, please come in. The door opens. 2 figures walk. a fairly short halfling that's leading the way. It is a short female halfling wearing like long purple robes with like glowing like golden embroidery in many ways. She just walks in with like a cheery smile and like curly brown hair, glasses, and behind them is a tall half-elf woman. She's got like darkish brown skin, with like a tattoo just like of a teardrop just under her eye.
She's killed people.
The long hair that's kind of like wrapped up in a messy bun. She's wearing on her back, you immediately, the first thing you notice is just she's got all sorts of metal gauntlets and gloves and wires connecting different things. Actually, you immediately recognize portions of it are electroseal. The material in it is quite familiar to you.
Cool.
A lot of it is almost like coiling up her arms into this like massive, similar sort of like backpack that you've seen once at like Clanko's shop, but a little bit more compact. But there's all these strange wires and tubes and cables that are connecting her gauntlets to this. She looks very much like an artificer.
Interesting.
She's got these goggles that are just up on her on her.
I've never seen her or heard studies of her or anything.
Make a history check for her.
What's her name again?
We don't
I've
know
got
that.
no idea.
Okay. Pretty fucking good. That is 25.
You begin to think back to some of the stuff that you had studied in your academy. Trying to recall just like whether you remember anything as being from like Sylvia or like any major discoveries or any famous artificers. And it does click in that you have heard the name Professor Kalani before. She used to not be a professor. She was just a very, very capable artificer. She had come trained in schema. She was a student from Sylvia as well. She had come in the same or a similar batch of students as Selena. But she had been more on the artificer side. She had been more of a specialist in
The one that got away.
sort of arcane craftsmanship, enchantment. She was quite a capable artificer. Very capable artificer. And you gather that this might be them. As
I whisper in Artemis, I know them.
This is quite a busy room. Hello. You seem dressed for battle. Everything all right, Naya? Pleasure to meet you. Mira, some of the constructs that you lent me seem to have gone haywire. Do you have any idea what could have... Haywire? What are you... What happened to them? Where are they? Well, these individuals helped me deal with them. And now, well, one of them I believe is still working. But the largest one that you had lent me is quite incapacitated. Wait, what? What did you do? What happened? What did I miss?
Do they sound
They're
like
just
they're like
arguing at
putting it on
each other.
Like,
Not really.
what? Oh my god.
Make an insight check.
17.
You don't think they're putting it on, but you also notice there's definitely some weirdness happening here.
Okay. Is the water red?
Yeah.
That's probably your best indicator that yes, the water is glowing red as this conversation sort of happens. And Mira just looks back. Why do you need to do this? I'm just having a little bit of fun. And Naya's just like, no, we need to make sure that all of the cards are on the table. Okay, fine. And you just see a shimmer as all of her facade and all of her gear just disappears, and she's just wearing these like plain overalls, as this illusion that she'd cast of being this very prepared and present, like ready for like very much a capable wizard, just kind of fades away, and she just looks like she's dressed in like plain clothes. And it's just like, I was busy working on something, and I'm glad you're not hurt. And I was just, I needed to make sure that these individuals could be trusted, and I wanted to make sure they weren't lying to me about anything, and so far they haven't been, so I needed to make sure to set out my truth detection meetings. Professor Miraculani, head of the Department of Enchantment and Illusion. Unfortunately, those are both tied to the same person. I did not like that we decided to combine those two departments into one, but she is quite capable at both of those things. That I am. Yes, this construct of mine, what happened to it?
Oh, it started glowing with some red lightning and attacked us.
Interesting.
And there were at least 4 of them that turned on
I
us.
gave them to you a while back. Did you tamper with them, Naya? No. What? I wouldn't even know what to do with them. It's not my area of... Yeah, of course it isn't. Do you know if...
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes. Schema?
Yup. Yup.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice arm.
Oh, thank you. Nice.
Is that energy? And she just is looking at your arm.
Do you know what this is?
Not quite. Yeah. And she just walks up and grabs your hand and is just holding it.
Takes it off.
It's just pokes at it. And you notice her finger almost goes into your flesh a little bit. Because it is translucent and almost
that's
transparent.
the part I don't understand.
Fascinating. How are you harnessing this?
The blue?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fascinating.
What, do you know what it is?
It's certainly not here.
Not here.
It's not here.
What's not here?
Your arm.
Well,
Well,
huh?
clearly.
Well, yeah, but it sort of what?
Your arm isn't here. It's
Where is
trying
it?
to be here, but it's not here. Does that make sense?
Yes. No. I don't know.
Whatever that material is, the arm, the flesh inside of it, it's almost like it's not here. It's... How much do you know about the ethereal plane?
Oh. So little.
Naya looks back and says, that is actually a very interesting question. Have you seen Vesh? He says to the Artox.
Wait, 2 people came in, right?
Yes. The other halfling is just kind of standing at the
Okay.
side, just watching.
Not much.
No, I can't say I have. I haven't seen him in quite a while, actually. Yes, I asked him to come here, but I have a feeling he won't. The Fresh provides me with some, how would you say it? Herbs and spices. It's crushed bone dust, okay? In order to see some visions in particular, some of the rituals that I have to conduct to see potent, divine certain truths requires powdered bone dust. It allows me to travel through the ethereal plane and see the winds of fate and the future, and that I'm not normally fully clear on. And I think based on, and you notice her not wanting to say what she just saw, as well as the fact that the last batch that he gave me led me down a steep, very scary vision quest that resulted in several strange entities emerging from the ethereal plane and potentially trying to kill me that you all thankfully saved me from. I'm not quite sure I can trust Zubanvesh anymore. I was willing to give a chance that perhaps those goods might have just been scuffed, but now that I'm seeing a few interesting possibilities here. Curious. Yes, the ethereal plane is a sort of parallel plane to the material plane that you are on.
So my arm is just floating by itself in another plane?
No, your arm... I'm going to be honest, I don't quite know what is up with your arm. However, the different planes of existence are mirrors of each other. Whatever is true and exists on one plane must also exist in some way, shape, or form in another. And in the third. There are only 3 or 4 of them that are sort of... It's like a cake. Have you ever had a cake?
I've had a cake.
Love cake.
There are layers of cake.
I've had a layer cake.
Each of those layers generally is fairly quite similar, though sometimes there might be a little bit of, fruit in some, icing in the other, a little bit of extra essence in some cases, perhaps some hallucinogenic powder mixed into another. But they all kind of exist on top of each other and should generally be close enough to each other in order to work. And in order to still be a cake. Otherwise, it would just be a piece of bread. Am I making sense?
Debatable, but yeah.
This is the artificer, by the way. Naya's just like sitting there with her... She's just like not taking any of this.
Sure.
So anyways, your arm is a layer of cake.
Okay.
But perhaps not one
Not
or
this
more of
way.
the other
Is it
layers.
cake?
Does that make sense?
I think so. So how do I get the proper layer here?
I mean, there's lots of magics that can help you regrow arms.
Well, his arm is there.
But
It's not quite there.
but
Does that make
regrowing it,
sense?
what if it comes back? Would I have 2 arms on the same arm hole?
It'd be interesting to find out.
That'd be kind of cool.
No, I think it would mostly just recover it back to the way that it should be. I think there's just something off with it.
Well,
I don't know what happened to it, but
So if that's another ethereal plane, does that mean that in the ethereal plane there's another you with your previous arm?
Well, no, because we stole them. Unless there's another.
these people have no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like we're getting a little off track, although I would love to pick your brain further. What I was going to mention is your construct. When the red lightning happened, the other constructs seemed to do whatever it wanted them to do. It also turned against us.
Interesting. The remnants of this, where are they? And Naya at this point finally like clicks back in. She's kind of just been staring off in the distance, just like thinking about what she's just seen. Commander Valak, I told him to bring the remnants over to. There's a workshop on the 2nd floor, room 204. Just he'll bring them there. He'll probably want to keep guard and also want to run his own forensics crew there. But yes, please go there and help him. Yes, I will go immediately and take a look at that. My suspicion is it was probably tampered with, probably by some student or something. Honestly, that construct has been working out there on the fairgrounds, probably unsupervised, because I know how the way that you work. We're probably off having some visions. Yes, I have been quite busy organizing the fair. They seem to have a pretty jovial relationship between the two of them. They seem to, with your passive insight, they do generally
Do they
seem
look
to get
similar
along
age?
well.
Well, I guess one's
No,
elf, right?
one is elf,
Yeah.
and the other is Like,
What?
they seem pretty jovial with each other.
What's the halfling doing?
She's just sitting there. Or, like, standing there by the door, just, like, watching.
What's
Who
your
are
deal?
you?
Hello.
She doesn't normally speak.
She's not allowed.
Alright.
Silent treatment.
The halfling just looks up at you.
Did any?
Are you alright?
Is it a dog that's illusioned as a person?
Make a perception.
Yeah. Like she came in with an illusion.
10.
She just waves her head and the illusion dog of the halfling fades. It's just like a small puppy that's staying there.
Aw, I love that.
It's very well behaved.
Except the part where he gave it away with the
Yeah.
barking.
Naya just like gestures up and just like levitates a treat over to it.
Gonna go give it some head scratches.
Professor Kalani, are you the construct expert here? Do you build the
I am.
constructs?
I do. I maintain them. I build them. I am pretty much the person responsible for them. Thus, if some of them are going haywire, that doesn't reflect well on me or my department.
Are you familiar with schema and the constructs in that rec state?
I am. I've been there myself. I learned quite a few of my tricks there. I learned a lot about how to craft some interesting things. I still get some materials shipped in from there occasionally. Not many of the people here really appreciate that aesthetic, though, so most of the constructs end up looking more polished and arcane.
There is an interesting enchanter there by the name of Clanko. Are you familiar with them and their work?
I am, actually. I've spoken to them in the past. I believe they do some fascinating craftsmanship and research. I attended a conference once in Icefall and met them there as well. Quite popular. Seemingly get around a lot. Very capable craftsman.
Capable, I see what you did there.
Interesting. Why did you bring up this Clanko? If you don't mind me asking.
Because of constructs.
Shady construct. Never trusted the boss.
Why shady? I've had no...
Oh, he stole from me.
Who's speaking? Like, is this Kalani or?
It's Kalani. It's Kalani.
Okay.
Naya is not talking much right now. She is kind of thinking. And
Okay.
as you look back to her, you actually see her eyes have kind of like gone white.
Okay.
She is having a vision
Okay.
or exploring something
Sure.
with her. So.
She's on Vision Quest.
Yep. Why shady? Is there a reason why I shouldn't trust them?
Well, I mean, he stole from me once. I'm sure of it.
Fascinating.
Why the change of this opinion?
Well, you see, Naya wanted a construct with a certain level of power. How would I put it? Longer life needed before it would need to go recharge. And one of the pieces of magic and one of the pieces of arcane runes that I carved onto its onto its core when I provided it to her was built on a piece of Clanko's tech. And if you think that he is not trustworthy, fascinating.
That construct that you're talking about was one of the ones in the grounds?
One the same.
Or
How
there
many
more.
more? Yeah.
Yes, there are. Several, actually.
Can you take him out of commission until we know?
I think I better. But first I need to go and make certain that these suspicions are actually true. I have ways of analyzing the core of these constructs if it's still within that device or within that damaged model. I'll take a look at that and make sure that I'll figure out if that was the root cause. But if there is some reason for me not to trust him, I would very much appreciate knowing.
We believe that he may be involved in some nefarious goods, I suppose.
The halfling is a dog.
Actual?
Yeah.
It was an
It
illusion.
was a dog
to look
illusion,
like
like a
halfling.
person.
God damn.
Time
Wait,
went
so
to
when I
speak
left,
to
you were
her.
trying to talk to this person?
There's probably a half dozen of the constructs. A few of them are out in the city. They're not even here in New County anymore.
It might be wise to try to bring them back in, and to be honest, probably do it as
soon as possible.
soon as possible and without raising any alarms.
Okay, I'll get my team on it. I'll borrow some of the Rangers. Commander Valak I'll let him know about this as well. That is certainly not great news. I always liked the man. He wasn't. He was quite a clever craftsman, if you don't mind me saying. Again, I have to speak, and you've got me in this mindset of like he would always speak with C's, and I'm not. Yeah, it's strange.
Do these constructs have some kind of a failsafe or something that can disable them? You know, they can punch really hard.
If you pull out the core, they basically can't function.
What cord? I don't see any cord.
Thing deep within it, around all the metal plates and all the
If you
sharp,
take it
spiky,
apart, it
pointy
doesn't work
bits.
anyway.
Oh. Alright.
I'm going to go and investigate this other construct. And I will look to get the other constructs back in and investigate those ones too, and potentially disable them as soon as possible. At this, Naya nods to her and says, "Yes, this Klanko, I don't know much about him, but he sounds like a suspicious fellow, I guess. I have no reason not to trust you all at this very moment, so very well. We'll speak again, Mira. Feel free to please stay in touch with whatever you find in this construct, and Mira's already turned around and started walking. She like, picks up the dog now, just like starts petting it and just like walks out.
How do we know the dog isn't an illusion?
Yeah.
That's Lady
Multiple
Garnette.
layers.
Yeah.
It's actually like her grandmother or something.
Naya turns to you all and says, "Okay, what was that? You said it was a vision. How did you see this vision? What was it a vision of? What gave you this vision?"
We were given it by another individual that we trust. They showed it to us when we were on our way to Sylphia.
Okay. So is this the thing that Professor Fanwell has been worried about? Thinking about? It does seem to line
Similar,
up.
if not.
It definitely seems to align with what he is thinking. There may be a specific individual he is considering as the primary suspect, but in the end, I think it all leads to the same thing.
And you think that this has something to do with Lady Garnette and Zivan Vesh, who is very much not somebody I'm trusting very much right now.
Well, we are not too familiar with Vesh,
Yeah.
but Garnette we are quite familiar with.
I've had many reasons to not trust Ivan Vesh in the past, but I've never quite been able to pin down something to directly implicate him in anything.
Does Lady Garnette have any possible lodging here still? Any areas where she might have access to do her own studies? If we could find this, we might be able to get some evidence against Vesh.
I believe she's at the Department of Necrology somewhere. I'm sure Ivan Vesh has set her up with some rooms or somewhere, a lab or something to work in.
She's no longer exiled.
Apparently not. Apparently she has been granted clemency and access to the facilities again.
Who made the appeal?
Vesh.
Professor Ivan Vesh.
If Vesh is making appeals for Garnette, then I do not think we can trust this individual, given what we know about her.
They're
Put
in
it-
cahoots.
Pretty bluntly, we're actually here to stop her. She's involved in some pretty dangerous things. If what you're saying about Vesh is even remotely true, do you think there's a chance he will try to stop us from stopping her?
Ivan Vesh is very hard to read. I have no idea what he might be up to or what he might be doing. Again, slime ball, very much hard to pin down with anything. I've been working with him for a long time, and he has never tried anything so overt as what he might be doing now.
To be fair, until we have any hard evidence, I don't know if we can really prove that Vesh is really at play here, other than potentially giving Garnette back agency within the Academy. He may just be a pawn in all of this.
I would like to know what was in that bone dust that he gave me. Never had anything like what happened.
It's possible he didn't know what he gave you either.
You
He
don't
could have
have
thought
any-
it was regular bone dust.
You don't have any more of it.
The ritual requires me to almost burn it and inhale the fumes in order to.
You know, you really shouldn't do drugs. Not good for you.
Has he distributed?
Comes with part of the job.
Do you know if he's distributed to anyone else?
I don't think so. It's highly controlled substance. Only the highest ranking professors of the divination school are allowed to
How strong,
partake.
or rather, how much control does Vesh have here?
Oh, not much. He's simply another one of the head professors. He has the same amount of control as I have.
And how much?
In his department, absolute.
Well, potentially.
He might
In this
be a
building,
puppet.
I control every door, ladder, light, slide, mirror within. You could call this faculty.
What does he have? Dead people's snakes?
No. Necromancy itself is completely frowned upon. Necrology is different from necromancy.
Not in my mind.
Necrology is the study of
picturing,
flesh and medication,
No.
restoration of arms.
No, you're wrong. It's a
Bringing dead things
Slytherin-looking
back to
building
life.
with
Bone.
green fire everywhere, and there's skeletons and snakes and basilisk tooths and
Vesh is,
horcruxes.
Professor Vesh is really just Professor Snape.
Yes.
We're like, he's evil. No, he's not.
I'm going to be
No,
frank
it's
with
so
you. If Lady
smart.
Garnette has her way, that might all be true. I believe that was part of what she was exiled for.
Well, we have good reason to believe that what I showed you, Garnette plays a big part in bringing that about. Or is attempting to.
She's very dangerous.
Interesting. That's definitely good to know.
She's not working alone on this either.
At this, there's another knock at the door.
Oh shit.
Before you open, have you ever heard of the Night Wolf?
I like how you didn't use his name first. Smart man. The wolf of the night.
interesting.
Oh, no way. I totally just YOLO guessed that one. You see big one standing there looking up.
Well done.
There are rumors of, I believe it's probably a criminal gang that operates in the West Wall that seems to go under that moniker. They call themselves the Wolves of the Night. They seem to be leaving wolf sigils carved everywhere on several walls. We've been trying to keep the fact that there's a cult in the city relatively under wraps, but maybe? I wouldn't think of it as any individual, though. I would think of them as a criminal organization, some sort of strange cult. But it seems like cults are... There's the knock at the door gets louder.
Very quickly, one of the individuals that Fainwell is interested in is operating in the West Wall.
Why is everything connected?
Who? Who?
Who what?
Who?
Sounds like an owl.
Who's operating?
Karis.
Karis? Okay. Do you know who that is? Are you expecting someone? Are we in danger? Should we hide in your mirror? Can I go check out what's in that hallway?
Theoretically, Vesh will
It
summon.
might be Professor Vesh.
Well, they don't know us.
That is true.
Unless Lady Garnette
Wow.
showed a selfie.
Yeah, she may have described us pretty
I'm pretty
eclectic
inconspicuous.
bunch.
Can anybody disguise me? Can you disguise me? As a dog? That's also disguised as
not
no.
my area of expertise. I'm sorry. The knock comes again.
I
and
could
she
use just a disappearance.
looks at you. You are probably fine.
Like probabilities.
Come in. As the door opens and a single individual figure walks in, wearing all black robes, a very slim, very pale,
Long hair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whoa.
long black hair,
Oh.
almost like a high purple color,
Sharp figures.
pale skin.
A Goral?
She looks human,
Human.
but her skin is like
Something-
there is no color to it.
Hey?
She has like long black, almost like partially sheer sleeves to her dress. They're just kind of like draped there, and she just like steps forward, wearing this like well-fitted black, almost
Holy
like corset with like a metal iron belt and sash. She steps forward and she seems to be almost like gliding forward.
Oh, you need to learn how to do that.
You immediately notice.
Gliding
Yeah,
forward.
but permanently.
You all immediately notice. She has no reflection in any of the mirrors.
Is it
Vampire.
Vampire?
You have no idea.
Was it sunny outside?
Why'd your voice go?
She,
That's why Calthier was using an umbrella.
She steps forward, looks up at Naya. Hello, Professor Lazuaris. There are a lot of people here, and rather not comfortable in such a crowded atmosphere.
Shut the door and stand there.
I'm
Hold
looking,
the
Professor,
stick.
I'm looking for neck bites.
She had a high collar.
Yeah,
right?
but she's got to.
make a wisdom saving throw,
Oh.
or an intelligence saving throw.
Why?
Oh, you recognize it.
This will be intelligence.
I'm going to pay close attention to the truth-telling water
Yeah.
during all this.
Dorothy 20.
You look at her and she nods and says, I'm adjunct professor Selena Margrave. Professor Vesh unfortunately will not be able to answer the summons that you have requested, but he has sent me in order to see if everything is all right. He heard of the unfortunate occurrence that occurred out at the fairgrounds and wished to extend his best regards to you.
What is
So
it?
just so Mike's aware, the whole she's former Bay is completely made up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she was a former student.
I need to know how to act at the moment.
She was a foreign exchange
But
student.
you made up the part that she's a summer
This is
fling.
what I drew last time.
No, you made up the part.
You said it! Roll the tape! Roll the tape!
She doesn't look happy.
I just
Yeah,
said
she's
she was
emo.
an emo goth woman, and you were like, "Oh, I love her."
I didn't say that. I said you loved her. I'm rolling the tape. I'm adding a clip right here.
She's like,
I don't know. I had a heart around you and her.
Yeah, because he said it.
That's
Yeah.
evidence.
Yeah.
Did she have a reflection back then?
Did I see her in front of any mirrors back then?
Or in the sun?
When I was obviously stalking her, apparently.
"Oh no."
Does she recognize me though? Like not
She doesn't
like
seem
that.
to.
Like
No?
me?
Okay. Yeah.
It's me. I've changed.
Why do you keep waving at
I
me?
don't know if you need to tell me if you actually talked to this foreign exchange student or not.
You dropped her name
You're-
literally 2
she was
seconds ago.
all I said was she was a foreign exchange student
Yeah.
from Sylvia who came to Schema and was studying in the academy. The rest of it was
rolling
all
it
made up
again.
by you.
I'm
So
rolling
it's
it
up to
again.
you. You need to
No,
tell
I
me
don't
what
know
your
her.
relationship
No, I
with
don't
them was.
know her.
Yeah.
He didn't have any
No,
friends.
no.
Come
You
on.
said you were
Yeah.
deeply in love with her.
He had no friends.
Aw.
I said that in like the very first episode that you guys were my new
But
friends.
maybe you had a big crush on her.
Yeah, but you're a new big one. You had all the friends.
That was my high school
She
name.
looks at you all. And she seems fairly nonchalant about it. But she does seem shy and a little bit quieter. Naya looks at her. Yes, tell Professor Vesh that I must speak with him. Selena responds. Unfortunately, the professor is deep in the midst of a rather volatile experiment at the moment. I don't think he'll be available for a few days.
Is he working?
The water is not red.
Is he working with Lady Garnette?
Oh. You meant Professor Garnett.
Professor Garnette.
I mean, my
I say in
sister.
your head.
Is he working with my sister?
I'm not quite sure I recognize the name. At which point the water immediately turns red.
Yeah.
Naya just looks at her and tilts her head. Please, Professor Margrave, we would appreciate if you spoke nothing but the truth in this trusted chamber.
Nothing but the truth.
And Selena responds back. Yes, apologies. I simply must keep the confidential activities of my master and my head professor a little bit. I'm sure I would get in a lot of trouble if I was to reveal all of the specifics of what he is currently working on, so I must ask for a certain degree of confidence to be allowed to me as well. To me and the professor as well.
Can you at least tell us if what they're doing?
I believe that Lady Garnette or Professor Garnette is a external consultant that he has hired and brought in order to help him with some research.
You don't have to go into detail of what they're doing, given, I guess, your role right now, but will it put the city at risk?
I don't think so. I don't know why it would.
I'm thinking the water hasn't changed colors. Yeah,
She probably doesn't know.
yeah, that's an economic sense.
How do you get to the Necrology Department from here?
Oh, there's several. Simply follow the path and follow the signs, and eventually you'll come to
How about
one
less
of the
beaten
buildings.
paths? You seem to control a lot of stuff here. Is there any back door? I didn't mean it sexual.
Everyone always looking for the back door.
Most of the departments tend to keep them to themselves. However, all of them are indeed connected to the spire in the middle, and traveling through them, most of our senior professors can travel through with no qualms. As well as for my own particular condition, I have no need to step outside.
Your condition.
Yes.
And I wink at her.
Yes.
Perhaps you can convince this individual that you work with Garnette and that you've been looking for her in the city and are trying to find her to assist.
While you guys are looking at each other, have you ever heard of a vampire elephant? Is that something you'd be interested in? It's just a thought. It's fine. I'll get Karis to do it.
I have been looking to get in touch with Professor Garnette. Specifically, you may know this. She is my sister.
That ain't no lie. Does it turn red? He was telling the truth.
Yeah, we got in touch a few days ago, but then she had to run off, and all she could tell me was could find her here.
Oh, I'm sure if you come visit the Department of Necrology, if she's not busy with whatever experiment or research that Professor Vesh is working with her on, she'd undoubtedly meet you.
Would you be able to escort us then?
I'm sorry, I unfortunately will not. I would have to travel through the spire to make it there myself, and you would not have access to the third, the main chambers. To which Naya responds, I can arrange for them to have access through the spire.
Coming in clutch.
Yes, please escort these individuals to the Department of Necrology and make sure that they meet with this Professor Garnette and Professor Vesh if possible.
Would that be alright, Professor Margaret?
For old time's sake.
Why does he keep looking at me like that?
It's unorthodox, but I don't see any problem with it. Certainly, I will bring you all through. Just I will wait outside when you are ready. Join me. It will be a bit of a trek to get through this fire and into the department. But if you would like, you can also simply travel to the department out here, and I will meet you at the gates and bring you
Spire
there.
would be preferable in this case.
I think we'll go with you. Again, just so that you can convey the information, I will follow her outside to see if she attempts to send a message.
I look at Xander. How
Pass
is
it on.
Xander behaving in front of
The sword.
the vampire?
No, it's a steak.
It's a flaming steak.
You look over, he has
Garlic.
garlic and fucking he has an assault circle for some reason.
The child on a chain is bait. So right now she's kind of walked outside.
She's still there right now, but
Yeah.
she's
Anything else?
yes. Once again, Professor Vesh would like to extend his sincerest regards for the injuries that you might have sustained in this completely unforeseeable situation.
Let's go. Let's wait outside while the others wrap up here. And then just, if there's anything else you can get from this forest before we go. And I'll gesture for Selena to go out and I'll walk out with her.
Yeah, she walks out of the door. You walk out with her.
Just two vampires conversing.
Yeah. Now that we're alone.
While the two of you are outside, inside Naya, just the door. Well, at least this way you'll be able to get perhaps closer to Vesh.
This
Do you, oh, good.
no, you please after you.
Do you think we may be in danger approaching Vesh?
Based on what just happened here, or what just happened at the fairgrounds, I don't know anymore. I would have said no, but now I'm not so sure.
Is there any way that you can help him?
Yes, in case we are walking into our impending doom. Yeah, motion
Or backup.
or like a spell of like a scroll.
I can't make a move against another headmaster.
An army of
disintegrate,
students.
or I don't know what your magic expertise is.
I will be. I can potentially help you.
Like, do you have a pocket mirror so we could summon you into the battle? If that happens?
No, unfortunately,
Damn,
that's.
that'd have been
What
cool.
about one of
Actually,
your
yeah.
other selves can make a move?
I don't.
Or multiple.
I think they would
You're
draw
not even
more.
with us.
I'm not there. I didn't actually ask that
Oh,
question.
yeah. Good point. No, I think I'm.
Anything, please.
After you all have left, I will follow to the spires, where I will speak with Headmaster Sahir and a couple of the other professors that I trust, and we will see if there is some sort of a inquest that we can take into the Department of Necrology, but it would be highly unorthodox for us to attempt to disrupt the research that one of our colleagues is doing. I know I wouldn't want that to happen to me, so there are many safety measures that are in place to prevent any sort of this overreach of authority in some ways. But I will definitely bring the topic up with Headmaster Slayer.
Is there any way we can keep in contact if anything were to go wrong?
I'm sure
Or see.
there are several ways for people to magically reach out to me. I would be loath to give you anything that can be traced directly back to me as being a impartial figure in this. As of right now, all that Professor Vesh knows is that you all are strangers that have saved my life.
Yeah.
Not that there is any other thing happening here. And as a favor for saving my life, I've made sure that you are able to visit your sister.
Perhaps I can signal for you in case things become dire.
Certainly. I will tell one of myselves to keep an eye out for any strange happenings that happen near the Necrology Department.
Like the
Beacons on the
beacons of
mountains are-
Gondor.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I just said.
Anything on fire. That's the
Somebody go put that out.
When the Department of Necrology is on fire, come.
The most I can do in order to help you potentially recover is grant you a short respite within one of my mirrors. That may help you essentially perform a short rest.
Can this? Random question: is it possible to bottle this liquid and for it to be useful
Every time you ask a
elsewhere?
question, you're just like,
I'm just thirsty.
yeah.
I don't see why not.
Oh.
Sure. She takes out a vial and fills it with it and hands it to you.
My skin is green.
It glows red.
Oh my god!
This
Smart.
this effect it'll fade over the course of the next few days, but it should last you at least a day or so.
Oh.
Has your sister ever seen anything you want to know?
Before we kill him.
So what happens if Lavin were to take off his invisible glove, pour the water in there, and just hold the glove? Is it just,
That's no, the glove was
No.
invisible.
Yeah, the glove when it comes off is not.
Dead.
Yeah.
It looks like a normal pair of black gloves. On its arm.
Yes.
But if I wear the glove
If it
and
had the
pour the
water in.
water in there,
Your hand will be very wet.
Nice.
alright, got a vial of whatever they call it.
Truth
It's
telling.
just
really.
truth detection.
So you see the future, you don't see the past.
I thought I could see the future.
Can you see what will happen with this encounter? Can you help
Doctor
us
Strange.
with
There's,
any information? How many are we going against? What are we going against?
there's 5,766 possibilities. We only win once.
There are very few individuals in the city older than myself, and Professor Vesh is one of them. He is a very powerful, very capable wizard. I would recommend perhaps not going in guns a-blazing, as adventurers are likely to call it.
It's a gun.
So we do it.
The thing on your back.
DM gave us no warning signs. We do it.
But I'm also quite certain that he wouldn't go so far as to disrupt the hierarchy at this academy so flagrantly as to send folks who are vouched for by me to their deaths. So
Even if we're trying to kill one of their consultants, partners, friends.
Hypothetically.
Murder their career.
I authorize you to undertake whatever in research you need to do in order to ensure that what your friend showed me does not happen. Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
You may have that in writing if you would like.
Alright.
She begins to draft up basically a writ. That's that exactly.
It's like, it's not the parks. I
do
can
a-
do whatever I want.
I did one more favor to ask. I have this amulet necklace that Lady or Professor Garnette had stashed away. I believe there's something sinister about it, and I've kept it covered because I'm afraid of what it can do. But I'm curious if you know anything more about it.
If you believe there is something sinister, I can certainly take a look at it in a very controlled, very safe environment, if you would like.
Yes, please. The more we know about, well, Professor Garnette, the better.
Would one of you like to accompany me, or should I go on my own?
I'll join you.
No, should it be you? If it's Daddy, I'm watching.
But you have a water line.
Very well.
I will trust you with the water, Xander.
Please follow me. And she steps into one of the mirrors.
I'm just outside,
Yep.
standing with Celia like, so how long have you been a professor?
I thought you were going to say vampire.
Yeah.
A few years. I graduated from the academy, and I decided that my career path led into further research here.
Kelther's got mad riz.
I've been researching several subjects on the study of the effect of undeath on mortal flesh. That is my area of expertise, and that is what I also teach.
Flesh.
Do you enjoy it?
I do.
If it was to be taken away from
Yeah.
you. Throwback.
I'm just asking like all these just like very kind of mundane, but like seem mundane, but like in just like random all over, just
Mundane,
asking a
but
bunch of questions.
Escalating and threatening.
Small talk is never your strong suit.
Quit while your head.
If it was the last thing you did.
If you had only one more day on this, what would you do?
I don't think I have much to worry about on that front.
What do you think of the sun?
Anyways, the lady Nihilus steps through this mirror and begins to walk down, essentially into the room that you would see in the reflection. Only after one of the walls, she just turns right. You step through, and it's strange. You step into the same chamber that you just stepped out of, except you don't see any of your friends there. And it seems slightly, the depth perception in it seems slightly longer and farther away. As you follow, you notice that in this path where she has turned, there is actually a walkway there, followed by a door that she has opened and stepped into. And essentially inside, it is a very, very simple stone table that is just jutting out of the floor. This is where I deal with hazardous goods. Should be safe enough.
Okay.
Please close the door behind you. You close the door, and inside is just this. It's basically just ambient light, a octagonal walled like stone room with a large sort of like square stone table on the ground. It's not even a table; it's just like a raised platform, essentially. Yes, please lay out whatever this
Uncovered?
range. Leave it covered for now.
Okay.
As you lay it out, which side is facing up?
I put it. The eye way is facing
The hot
up.
side or the cold side?
The hot side's facing upwards with the cloth over it.
Okay.
Oh no.
As she closes her eyes and she like looks at it, definitely very powerful magic. Seemingly some sort of a connection to a different plane. Not quite something powerful enough to bring something here. Also seems to have some sort of an adverse effect on the mind. And I also don't know how much of it I can trust because it might be concealing its true power. Yes, please uncover it. She begins to cast a couple of spells to just ward the two of you first. You feel like your mind almost like close off, and the psychic whispers that you would have been connected to just completely shut off. Your mind is very much your own, quiet right now. Please uncover it.
How much longer are you going to be in there? Hello?
As you uncover it, you see this almost like a diamond-shaped pendant. I'm going to ask you to check me on this because I'm pretty sure the back is the side that's warm, and the front is the side that's cold, or is it the other way around?
Oh shoot!
Because I don't remember. Sorry. I could just check the message history. I don't think it would be in that. But
Oh, that you had messaged it to me.
yeah.
Yeah, let's check that.
What's it like to get secret messages?
It's great.
So long ago.
It would have been a very long time ago.
The back of the pendant is ice cold, but the front is
The
scorching
back
hot.
is
I was
cold.
right.
Okay. Okay. So as you uncover it, it is simply this large, almost like diamond-shaped red ruby with like a single black, black and gold, sort of like a black gem cut out that looks like an eye with like gold trim around it. It looks beautiful. It is looking straight up at the ceiling here. Interesting. Definitely some sort of an eye. She looks down at it, winks a couple of times. Hello.
I'm gonna follow suit. Just peer over. Yeah, take a closer look. It's not.
It doesn't seem to do anything. Well, she begins to cast Identify on it now that it is uncovered. This is a pendant. It allows something else to see through the eyes of the person wearing it. Currently nobody's wearing it, so that's a good thing. I believe the other thing that can see through this has some sort of a very strong connection with the Nine Hells. Yeah, I don't quite know what this creature is. I can see it trying to reach out and affect us both, but thankfully some of the protective measures that I would cast are keeping us safe from it. I would recommend not keeping it around, unless you would like to speak with this entity. Perhaps keep it covered and away from you all. If you would like, I can hold on to it. She reaches out and flips it over. On the other side of it, there are ice crystals that even right now are forming on it. and she like touches it, and her like finger almost like sticks to it, almost like licking something that's like ice cold, and she like pulls it back. And I have a feeling that's designed to make sure that once you put it on, you can't like take it off.
Oh, it sticks to you.
Fascinating. I mean, I don't think right now it's going to be doing anything to you, so if you would like to put it on, be my guest. But I'm not quite sure what it would do. Do you have any idea? You mentioned you got this from Lady Garnette? Or Professor Garnette?
Professor Garnette, yes. Well, I could keep a cloak between the back of it and myself. And just...
She begins to just like lift it up and just like holding it from the hot side, and she's like, ow, it burns. There's just something about this that I don't necessarily think this me wearing this would do nothing. Essentially, I'm fairly confident that the abilities that it has, whatever it has, it's first off, it's doing a very masterful job of keeping them hidden from even a simple identify spell. I would have to do some rather intense research to figure out what it is, potentially even wearing it, but I'm also fairly confident that it would do nothing for me.
Do you think it may respond to me?
If it belonged to Lady Garnette, I'm sure she must have had it for a reason. I don't know what it does. It is definitely a very powerful artifact. I don't quite know what it is, but it is unlike anything that I have seen.
Is there anyone else that you think?
What's so much trying to kill me?
Is there anyone else you think that would be worthwhile talking to about this?
I mean, maybe the headmaster.
Well, if it's not a far stretch, maybe I do leave it with you. And if that's something...
I think the only person I can think of who would specialize in this particular thing... Again, my area of expertise is very much in divination and prophecy, which this has nothing to do with. The headmaster is the smartest of all of us for a reason. He is the head of the Prismatic Council. If anybody would be able to help you with this, it would be him. But also Professor Phaedron might be. He heads up the Department of Arcane Theory. If anybody has any sort of idea on the actual raw portions of the magic that was used to create this, he would be the one to ask.
Yeah, I'll follow up with him. Okay. Thank you for this.
Please keep it. Would you like to take it, or should I hold on to it?
I can take it with me, but I guess... Yeah, I can take it with me. I'll keep it wrapped up.
Okay. I will lend you a book from my collection about the Nine Hells in case you have any. You might find some more information or something about Professor Garnette in there, perhaps, because this magic is definitely infernal. And she begins to point out some of the, just very, very faintly along the like edge of the amulet. She points out some runes on it that are carved in infernal.
We can read that.
Mm-hmm. If you can read that.
Wait, I think I can. Let's see. I don't think we have anyone else that can.
You didn't try reading it?
Languages under...
It's with like
infernal.
armor weapons.
Okay. Carved along the edge is just a single phrase that's just repeated in like on all four edges, and it just says, "Dragon fire melts everything." Dragon
On close inspection, it says jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
As she points that out, definitely infernal of nature. Though I don't know what dragons have anything to do with any of them. But perhaps she's going to make one history check. She has a +6 on this. If she rolls over a 20, she might get a little more information.
Was it what?
That's the same dice you've rolled in front of the board multiple times. That was also multiple
It's
ones.
weighted.
Yep, 1 or 20. You get a 1
I
or
don't know.
20 with that dice.
It's
What
par for a
about
course, man.
Yeah.
my history check?
We would have no reason to know.
He doesn't know anything.
I have a book.
You have a book. But yeah, you wrap up this pendant again in like the cloak that you've been carrying it in. She opens the door and leads you out through the hallway, and she turns to a different side, goes down a different hallway. You follow her, and eventually Arkmir emerges barely a few minutes after he left from where you all had been waiting in the room. He steps out. Is there anything you all would like to do while waiting for her? Arkmir? And your big one. Time in Astra.
Really?
I've kept this water safe for you.
I was imagining the rest of you just getting a little scoop of water.
It's a very powerful substance.
As they, Arkmir and Laswaris emerge, Laswaris walks over to one of the shelves and like opens this cabinet, begins to look through some books and pulls out like a small book that just has carved on it on the 9 House of Bator. He hands it to you. Feel free to borrow this and you can return it at some point. Hopefully not an extended borrow. He looks at Astra.
What?
Do you mind signing the front page? I'll return to you.
Yeah, well, best of luck. Hopefully you learn what caused this event today, and hopefully we're able to stop whatever is going to cause this event in the future.
Can I ask you one last thing before we leave?
Yes?
I've been looking for my sister for a very long time. Since you are somebody who sees things, would you be able to see where she is?
Do you happen to have any crushed bones of your ancestors?
Yes.
Matter of fact.
No.
It would require a fairly specific ritual to get visions about such a fairly specific thing. It's
Can
not.
you glean anything from this scarf? Anything?
Can I burn it?
No.
Unfortunately, I don't think so. My magic requires a lot of ashes.
I see.
At least my area of expertise does.
Oh, alright.
I'm sure there might be some very capable wizard who's able to perform similar magics without requiring ash. Perhaps with like tea leaves or something primitive.
You know, drugs not good for you. Stay away from the powdery stuff.
Again, I think it comes as part of the job description. I wouldn't
Sure
be
it
headmaster if I wasn't this good.
I'm sure a lot of people say the same.
Meanwhile, Selena,
What professor inspired your teaching styles?
she's stopped answering.
What?
Make a perception check.
Oh, she's biting you this whole time.
Yeah.
14.
Uh-oh. You have a very nice and pleasant conversation.
Oh god, something happened.
And
I mean, I wasn't looking for anything, so if something passively happened, my passive perception is better.
you all step outside and you see Kalter and Selena simply saying,
Oh, they're here now. We can go.
very well. Follow me. And she begins to lead you down the hall and into one of the side hallways.
Really quickly, as they come out, though, I'm going to look towards Arkmir and be like,
You
like
can't-
in my
you
head,
can't
I'm
speak to each
saying,
other,
I'm saying, I know you
Oh,
can hear,
it's
but I'm
done.
like, what happened?
Oh, is it like it's dead?
Yeah, your mind was completely like closed,
I see.
and every connection that you had out of it was shut off.
Oh. I think I should be able to recast it after a short rest, anyways. So I will. Six hours.
6 hours later.
Your psychic connection is reestablished as you begin to walk and follow Selena as she leads you down the hallway, down some stairs into the underground basement of the divination facility.
The
faculty.
Slytherin underground.
And then through several tunnels and pathways as you make your way up towards the third floor, or third tier of this cake.
Yeah.
Okay.
And where's Rufus?
Rufus is nowhere to be seen. But that is where we will end
Oh
this session.
shit, guys, we're about to die.
You all begin to make your way towards
Yeah.
the Department of Necrology and Entropic Studies. Not at all necromancy.
Shit.
But
We're
definitely.
going to.
They're gonna have plenty of things to study when we're done with this movie.
We are going to the Undercity.
Either us or the remains of others. God damn. Alright, we wrap it up.
Goodbye.
Bye. See you next time on
Yeah, so.
Yeah.